The June 19th, 2012 regular meeting of the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board is now called to order.
In accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 1046 et sec, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the Star Ledger, El Nuevo Coquí, Haiti Progress, and Luz Americano newspapers, and by distribution to the administrative offices of the Newark Public Schools. A copy of this meeting notice was forwarded to City Hall for posting. This is a regular advisory board meeting for Tuesday night, June 19th, 2012.
Please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Ms. Baskerville-Richardson.
Here.
Ms. Davis-Spate.
Here.
Mr. Jeffries.
Here.
Mr. Kenny.
Here.
Dr. Lamore.
Here.
Mr. Lewis.
Here.
Ms. Matthias.
Here.
Dr. McCreary. Ms. Marin.
Here.
Quorum is present.
We will now have greetings from Rafael Hernandez School's principal, Juan Carlos Ruiz.
Good evening. On behalf of the administration, we want to welcome the students, the parents, the teachers, the staff, the Newark Board of Education members, Superintendent Cami, the Newark Advisory Board, all public officials, the principals that are here, Casa Lynn Pugliese, NTU, Roger Leon, Councilman at Large Luis Quintana, North Ward Councilman Aníbal Ramos. It is an honor and a privilege to welcome you this evening to the Rafael Hernandez School of Performing Arts. On behalf of the administration and collective body of Rafael Hernandez, we want to extend a warm welcome. We are here this evening because we have one goal in mind, is to express our collective passion to educate and raise young ladies and gentlemen in the city of Newark who will become our hope for the future and ultimately adults that the world can depend on. The Rafael Hernandez community is committed to providing a safe, creative learning environment that provides opportunities for all students to evolve into educational and civic leaders who are independent, critical thinkers. Rigor, achievement, and respect, a strong and determined work ethic, and the encouragement to achieve one's personal best are all intrinsically interwoven within the core curriculum and everyday activities at Rafael Hernandez School. We highlight now how this year 75 Rafael Hernandez fifth graders participated in the New Jersey Performing Arts Center dancing classroom, and 12 of the students were selected to compete in the first annual Newark Colors of the Rainbow Festival. We placed third after competing with 7 other schools from Newark and Jersey City. We also want to share how our girls basketball game rated second in the district's championship. The Bay team placed third. Robotics team placed first in the teamwork category. Girls volleyball placed second in the district. We were also awarded recipients of the Newark Now Teacher Grant for RWT. And we continue to strive for excellence. That deserves a round of applause. Add this to our beautiful surroundings, modern state-of-the-art facilities, supportive and committed teachers and staff, parents and pupils, Newark Public Schools Advisory Board Council and the Superintendent Anderson, who exemplify visionary leadership, and progressive forward thinking. And you have a district and a school that strives to raise and educate motivated, successful students. So once again, we welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move to the approval of the minutes. There are 3 sets of minutes. We will move separately. First minutes are the minutes from the April 24th, 2012 meeting.
Motion.
Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Jeffries? Second?
Second.
This is a motion to approve the minutes from April 24th, 2012, moved by Mr. Jeffries, second by Pintor Marin. Ms. Davis-Spate? Mr. Jeffries?
Yes.
Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Dr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Matthias?
Yes.
Ms. Pintor Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Bashkova Richardson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next is to vote on the March 1st, 2012 minutes from the Advisory Board Executive Session meeting. Is there a motion? Yes, Mr. Jeffries?
Second.
Who seconded?
I
Okay,
did.
Ms. Pintor.
This is a motion to approve the minutes from March 1st, 2012, moved by Mr. Jeffries, second by Pinto Marin. Ms. Davis-Spate? Yes. Mr. Jeffries?
Yes.
Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Matthias?
Abstain.
Ms. Pinto Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Bashkova Richardson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next vote is on the March 22, 2011 regular Advisory Board meeting.
Second.
Mr. Jeffries?
Second.
Second.
Ms. Spate?
Yes.
Motion to approve the minutes from March 22nd, 2011, moved by Mr. Jeffries, second by Ms. Spate. Ms. Davis-Spate?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Jeffries?
Yes.
Mr. Kenny?
Abstain.
Mr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Matthias?
Abstain.
Ms. Pinto Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Bashkova Richardson?
Abstain.
Motion carries.
We now move to the report of the Advisory Board Chairperson, which will include a few celebratory pieces. And first will be the swearing in of the newly elected Student Advisory Board member, Angel M. Plaza. Could you please come up? Angel M. Plaza was born in Newark, New Jersey on October 27, 1993. He spent most of his life in Montclair, New Jersey, we excuse you for that, and until he moved to Newark at age 14. He is currently a junior at Newark Vocational High School. He is not only Vice President of the Student Council at Newark Vocational High, he is also President of the local 4-H Teen Council Club. His academic goals are to attend a premier engineering college, and he is currently considering MIT, Georgia Tech, Carnegie Mellon, or NJIT to obtain both a bachelor's and a master's degree in electrical engineering or computer engineering. His long-term professional goals are to become a licensed professional engineer consultant and one day own and operate his own engineering firm in Newark.
Amen.
In his spare time, he enjoys reading about New Jersey education reform, and he looks forward to being the 2012-2013 Newark Public Schools Advisory Board Student Representative. At this time, in a symbolic passing of the torch, we would like to say a really big thank you to Ming Wing, who has served for the last year, and to allow him a few minutes to say whatever he wants.
Twice. Before I depart, I would like to say a few words. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate Angel. I think he was the best candidate to move SLG forward and to keep representing Newark students. Secondly, I would like to thank the board members for my experience while taking a seat on the stage. I've learned a great amount about our school system and the way it functions. It was a pleasure to hold the student representative position of this year. On that note, in my hands right now are petitions from parents and students from Science Park High School, pleading the board and Superintendent Tammy Anderson to not consider the co-location of Science Park High School with another school and its facilities as a possibility for the upcoming school year. I believe it is my duty as a student representative and a current student at Science Park High School to hand these petitions to the board. We all want the same thing for our students, and that is the best education possible. However, we have differing means to reach that end. But we must realize, as a school district and as a city, that the best way to reach that goal is through communication. Thank you.
I hope that this nameplate from the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board is one of the first of many that Mr. Wang will have in his lifetime.
Okay, please repeat after me, Mr. Plaza. I, Angel M. Plaza, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey and the Constitution of the United States of America, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and also to the governments
and also to the governments
established in the United States and this state
established in the United States and its states
under the authority
under the authority
of the people. So help me God.
So help me God.
I, Angel M. Plaza,
I, Angel M. Plaza,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess
I possess
the qualifications
the qualifications
by law for an for a student representative of the board,
for a student representative of the board,
and I will justly and impartially
and I justly and impartially
perform all the duties of that office
perform all duties in office
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
At this time, we will be presenting proclamations to the families of Tahir Whitehead and Adonis Thomas in their stead. Their families are here. I would like to ask Mr. Lewis to please join me again at the podium on the right as Mr. Lewis really spearheaded this effort. Tahir Whitehead's mother is here. Would you please join us on stage? Oh, his brother also? Please join us. And we're being joined by Mr. Taylor, the athletic director from Westside High School. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I see Mr. Lewis, you know how he is. He has Tahir on the phone. Mr. Lewis is always up to something. I'm not going to read the whole proclamation, but just parts of it. Whereas Mr. Tahir Whitehead, a 2008 graduate of Newark Public Schools, who has brought pride and honor to the city of Newark and his high school, Westside High School, and during his high school career, he was named 2008 All-Academic Team, selected to play New York, New Jersey Governor's Bowl, named All-City, All-County, Team Captain, etc., etc. He pursued his college education at Temple University, where he played standout defensive end. Oh, this is just so much. Graduated in 3.5 years with a BA in criminal justice. Come on, this is not just athletics here. A bunch of honors here. Oh, too many. Oh, all of them. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Winner of the 2011 Mark Bersani Award for Spirit and Enthusiasm, second team All-MAC honor in 2011, defensive MVP of 2011 Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, instrumental in helping his team reach 2011 Gildan, New Mexico Bowl during his senior year, accumulated with 4 letters, 180 career tackles, 25 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, team captain in his senior year, etc., etc., etc. Tahir demonstrated a standard of excellence that has made him a role model for young people in the city and throughout the country. And whereas Tahir has signed with the Detroit Lions professional football team and will join them at camp this summer, that's where he is now? That's where he is now? Yes, and that's where he is now. Therefore, on this 19th day of June, the year 2012, the Newark Public School Advisory Board commends Mr. Tahir Whitehead for his years of excellence and contributions to the city's youth.
Yeah.
I would like to first thank God because through him all things are possible. On behalf of my son Tahir, I am accepting this award, and I would like to thank the Newark Public Schools for contributing all they have done in providing me with this award, and I would like to say thank you.
You said I could talk?
Yeah, go ahead, talk.
I just want to thank everyone for being there with us and want to thank the Newark Public Schools for this award. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm deeply honored to receive this award. And I just want to say, through God, all things are possible. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. You know, just keep focused and, you know, do what you have in mind. You know, set a goal for yourself and achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark.
She'll be moving into her music, so.
And could Adonis's mom please come up? Mom, Dad, whoever's here for Adonis this evening?
You see this guy over here with the dog, the white hand with the dog and the person? I recognize him, but I don't know who he is.
I think he's a teacher or principal. But then it seems like I see him in political areas as well. So I'm not sure.
And we are joined also by Mr. Westbury from Weequahic High School, my alma mater. The proclamation is very similar. I will just try to pull out a few particularities. Whereas Mr. Adonis Thomas is a 2007 graduate of the Newark Public Schools who has brought pride and honor to the city and his high school, Weequahic High School. During his high school years, he was selected to participate in the All-American Combined sponsored by the U.S. Army, selected to play in the New York, New Jersey Governor's Bowl. He was the first and only NPS football player to score a touchdown in this all-star game, named to the All-City, All-Iron Hills Conference, All-Essex County, All Group 2 football leagues, team captain for the 2006 NJSIAA Group 2, on and on. Okay. Adonis pursued his education at the University of Toledo, where he played as a defensive running back, received a bachelor's degree in psychology and interdisciplinary studies, graduated cum laude with overall GPA of 3.265. Football skills were lauded by teammates, sports writers, etc. Instrumental in helping his team reach the 2010 Little Caesars Pizza Bowl, etc., etc., etc. Culmination with 4 letters, a total of 2,551 career rushing yards, 6.3 yards per carry average, 21 rushing touchdowns, etc., etc. Team captain during his senior year. And so much more. Ranked the 22nd top running back in the nation. I'm sorry, let me take that from the beginning of the sentence. Whereas Adonis was ranked the 22nd top running back in the nation and has signed with the Cleveland Browns professional football team and will join them at camp this summer, where he is now. And therefore, on this 19th day of June in the year 2012, the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board commends Mr. Adonis Thomas for his years of excellence and contributions to the city's youth.
Good evening, everyone. It's a wonderful thing when you watch your child blossom and when you are there to support your child in all of their endeavors. So for the city of Newark, who always gets a raw deal with all the different things, but the negativity, good things do come out of Newark. Hard work for all the students that are here, all the students. I want all the students to listen very carefully. When your parents are getting on you about what you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing, listen to your parents, because it really does pay off. Whether you are a single parent or whether you live, or if you're a parent, if you're a grandparent that are raising your children, it can still be done. So I just want to encourage you to know that good things happen to those who persevere, and you have to keep going. You can't give up, and you have to watch and help your children cultivate and achieve their goals, and it is possible. Thank you.
I'm on. Everybody doing out there, I just want to just thank the city of Newark for giving me so much and giving me an opportunity to play football. Without that city, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I want to thank my family. I want to thank God for giving me my ability. And I just want to tell, the young people that's in the crowd, don't ever let nobody tell you can't get what you want to get out in your life. Because if you work hard work will get you very far. I'm living proof. So I just want to just thank everybody that came out, and I just want to just let y'all know that I'm doing this for everybody. I spoke with Ty here not too long ago, and we told each other we got to put our city on our back, because our city is known for so much negative. It's time to bring some positive back to the city of Newark.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. I'll give it to him.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just before we move on, I also wanted to just acknowledge Mr. Roger Leone, who also had been instrumental in making this happen. Me and Mr. Leone was invited to the going away party of Tahir Whitehead, and we both went and had a good time. And this was something that me and Mr. Leone thought of that night of doing. So I just wanted to give Mr. Leone his acknowledgement as well. And also,
Thank you.
And also, I also want to thank Valerie Merrick for putting this all together, and the board for supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. We will now move on to the resolution on school funding. This resolution was brought up in old and new business at our business meeting by Mr. Jeffries, and I would like to ask Mr. Jeffries if he could please read the resolution, and at that time, we will, after the reading of the resolution, we will entertain a motion to accept that resolution.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. This resolution regards some changes that are being proposed by the state that would reduce the amount of funding available to us here in Newark, and I'll read it. It goes as follows. Whereas the New Jersey Supreme Court for well over 20 years has recognized that concentrated poverty affects student learning and requires school districts to have sufficient financial and supplemental resources to address the educational deficits caused by concentrated poverty. Whereas the New Jersey Supreme Court, through a series of cases spanning over 20 years, has required the state of New Jersey to ensure school districts with high proportions of students living in poverty have the financial and supplemental resources necessary to providing students with a thorough and efficient education. Whereas in 2008, Seeking to comply with these decisions, the State of New Jersey enacted the School Funding Reform Act, which granted additional funds to serve the educational needs of students living in poverty, as well as students who speak English as a second language. Whereas the state enacted the SFRA after 5 years of examining the adequacy of its prior funding formula, and after engaging nationally recognized experts on education funding and the amounts of funding needed to educate high-needs students, among other populations. Whereas in 2009, the state Supreme Court upheld the SFRA, but explicitly required that the funding formula be subsidized for at least 3 years. Whereas in 2010, the state disregarded the SFRA and the Supreme Court's 2009 decision, cutting the Newark district's budget, along with other districts throughout the state, in contravention to the SFRA's funding formula. Whereas the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board collaborated with the Newark District to join a lawsuit challenging the state's 2010 budget cut, successfully returning to Newark over $30 million. Whereas the governor's current budget seeks to change the funding formula by significantly lowering the funding weights allocated for children in poverty and for children who speak English as a second language. Whereas the governor's current budget proposal also seeks to recalculate the determination of school attendance for funding purposes, lowering funding for Newark and other districts with high populations of homeless children or children who switch schools during the school year. Whereas the State Office of Legislative Services estimates that these combined cuts could amount to a loss of $1,000 per student at a time when the Newark District's budget already faces deficits and anticipates future revenue shortfalls. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board strongly urges the governor and the state legislature to use funding distributed under the SFRA as its minimum baseline for distributing funding for fiscal year 2013. The SFRA was enacted after a multi-year process of evidence gathering, expert testimony, and public input, and that deliberative process produced a formula that was unanimously affirmed by the New Jersey Supreme Court in 2009. The proposed cuts would significantly reduce the funds available to educate students in the Newark District and would contravene explicit court mandates requiring enhanced funding for high-need students. For these reasons, the Newark Public Schools Advisory Board respectfully urges the governor and the legislature to maintain at minimum the amount of state funding allocated for high-need students provided by the SFRA.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding this resolution? Is there a motion to accept the resolution? Yes.
Motion to
Second.
accept.
Go ahead.
Motion by Ms. Pinto, seconded by Mr. Lewis.
Okay, motion by Ms. Pinto-Marin, second by Mr. Lewis. Is a motion calling upon the state to restore full funding at a minimum at the level of the SFRA. Ms. Davis-Spate?
Yes.
Mr. Jeffries?
Yes.
Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Dr. Lamore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Mattias?
Yes.
Ms. Pinto-Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Baskel-Richardson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will now have parent recognition portion of our meeting, and Ms. Davis-Spate.
Good evening, everyone. We would like to take this time to congratulate our parents throughout the district that does a tremendous job each and every day. From our East Central region, Marquise Tucker, Burnett Street School. South region, April Swindell Hunt, Weekway High School. From the West region, Barbara Johnson, Alexander Street School. And from the North region, Yvonne Velez, McKinley School. Congratulations to all our parents.
We will now, first, thank you, just a special thank you to the parents for coming out this evening to receive this recognition. It's always wonderful to be recognized, but it does take time out of your schedule. So just a special thank you for coming out tonight. We will now move on to the report of the State District Superintendent.
We're just going to move to the side a little bit so that my face is not directly in the way of the, whoa, like that. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. We have 3 sections of tonight's report. I always like to begin every report by reminding folks of the priorities that we remain focused on, and then we typically give an update on the ones that are most topical and about which we've received the most number of questions. So these are the priorities, and we'll dive right into our update.
Madam Superintendent, Madam President, to the members of the board, as you are all very well aware, the Magnet High School application process was online during the course of this year. And in addition to going online and receiving a downloading of all student records electronically, all of the students went from taking multiple entrance exams in all of our Magnet High Schools to there being one sole entrance exam, and that being the ACT. Bard High School has joined the Magnet High Schools, in that being that there are 6 Magnet High Schools in the district: American History, Arts, Science, Technology, and University. During this application process, all of the student data entered online as well as accessed from our databases resulted in a match of the single best offer for our students that are currently in the 8th grade seeking admission into 9th grade at our respective high schools. The specialized high school programs, those are currently our 6 comprehensive high schools: Barringer, Central, Eastside, Malcolm X Shabazz High School, Weequahic, and Westside, as well as Newark Vocational, and as well as the 2 newest high schools that began this year, Bridges and Newark Innovation Academy. All of those high schools underwent the same past practices of the paper application, even though there was only one application for all of those respective schools. This year, we also had a highly specialized middle school process where students were actually able to enter into respective magnet schools in grades 6 and 7, and I know that this advisory board has one of those new highly specialized middle schools options before it upon a vote this evening, and we're extremely excited about the opportunities that are going to be afforded those students, as well as all of the students that will be entering grade 6 and 7. One more. The notification for our students and their respective parents occurred prior to and in anticipation of the June 5th orientation for freshmen at all of our high schools. On June 5th, students were able to choose one of 3 options. One, any of the magnet schools that actually chose them as their best offer, any of the highly specialized high schools that I previously referenced, as well as the opportunity to remain in their zoned school, the school that is in their actual feeder pattern of their elementary school. In moving forward, there will be simply one application and one test come next year. this year was our test run of the online application process. We are aware of a number of issues more on the communications end as to that process this year, and we're extremely excited of continuing it, addressing all of the issues that resulted in less than 100% of an incredible experience to achieve that come next school year. Yesterday evening, we had an incredible opportunity to have all of the students that were entering 6th grade or 7th grade in our highly specialized middle school options attend orientation at those respective schools. We're extremely excited about the attendance of the students and their respective parents at all of the locations that were actually hosted yesterday evening. And we are aware that Arts High School, due to a conflict in the schedule, is scheduling their highly specialized middle school 7th grade orientation at a later date this week. As it relates to the numbers, it is important for everyone to know that unlike ever before, 1/3 of the students that applied to the magnet high schools, over 3,000 students applied to the magnet high schools, 1/3 of those applicants actually were admitted. As it relates to the highly specialized middle schools, also 1/3 of the students who applied also were admitted into one of the highly specialized middle schools. In addition, there are a number of students that applied outside of their zone schools so that they were looking at options beyond the magnet schools that this district was actually offering. And about 60% of the students that applied were admitted to schools outside of their zone schools, and we're extremely excited with regards to that. An important note to make is that unlike ever before, the students that actually applied to grade 9 that actually have an IEP, the largest number of students that were admitted into the magnet high schools were of the students in that respective category, and we're extremely excited about the hard work and the commitment to excellence that all of our high schools will be required to do and demonstrate as we move forward into the next academic school year.
Thank you, Mr. Leone. Important to note, as just Mr. Leone pointed out, that we were able to get a great deal more students applying this year, which we think is a wonderful thing for students and families to exercise choice in expressing where they want to go to high school, and we're able to increase the number of seats that we're offering. So those are two very important milestones. I'm going to give an update on the Renew schools. As everyone knows, we've been focusing laserly on what we've been calling the 5 ingredients for success: great school leader, clear mission and vision, excellent teachers, safe building with flexible resources, and engaged families and students. So I want to give an update, a status update on where we are with each of these pieces, because we believe when these ingredients are put together well, we will see a recipe for success for our kids. So in terms of great school leaders, we went through a rigorous process. We invited many Newark Public School principals and administrators to apply. We went through a 4-tiered process involving a written application, a case study, a group interview, a presentation, a panel, involving many partners, and we're pleased to announce that we have appointed 8 interim principals of our Renew schools. The final placements will be made once SLCs are convened and are able to meet the candidates. In the meantime, we have weekly training and support mechanisms set up for them, and they have been incredibly dedicated in attending those sessions, while many of them are still holding existing roles. As far as the mission and vision, the principals are in the beginning stages of fleshing out mission and vision statements with teams that they are convening of stakeholders in the community, so that these processes can happen in partnership with those who are in the schools. All of our jobs this year, whether they are in the Renew schools or in other schools, are now online, so that any teacher seeking a transfer, any administrator seeking a transfer, can go and search for positions across the district. We have about almost 1,000 people who are currently in Talent Match, which we regard as a great way for educators to find one another. As far as the buildings, we will be able to take the resources that we will save as a result of the consolidations and closures, and apply those to improving the technology and the quality of the buildings. And we've begun that planning under the SBA's leadership, and we are poised to improve that over the summer. Every principal is meeting with stakeholders affiliated with their school and are planning meet and greets as well as several team building activities over the summer for each of the Renew school communities. Something we've been able to put in place for the Renew schools is an intensive training and planning institute. That planning institute has allowed the Renew principals to look at best-in-class research on 90-90-90 schools. And remember, 90-90-90 schools are schools where 90% of students are on free and reduced lunch, and 90% are reading at grade level, and 90% are doing math at grade level. Our goal is to have 90-90-90 schools in every ward in Newark, and not just one, but many. So we have focused on the essential elements of those schools. We have also run them with panels of practitioners and experts, and this will conclude with a comprehensive plan that the principal will convene a planning team to execute and align according to the research. Some of the topics we've addressed: school mission, core beliefs, and operating values, how to conduct a fair and transparent hiring process according to what we know is best in class and has integrity, budgeting aligned resource allocation, how to create an instructional culture focused on teaching excellence, curriculum and assessment, school climate and culture, community engagement, and the ongoing coaching and professional development of staff. We know when these things are present at very high levels, schools, even those that have many students that are struggling, can excel and produce beat the odds results. The staffing is occurring as we speak through Talent Match, and we are also putting together planning teams that are engaging stakeholders in every community. The ordering of curriculum materials and other pieces are taking place, and the facilities plan for the summer has been laid out for each of the Renew schools. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Anastopoulos for the budget update.
Just quickly, we just over the last couple of weeks have finalized the school budgets. All schools were allocated funds on an equitable formula. Each school received the same dollars per student based on their characteristics. We did have to take a budget cut for all of the schools based on the information that we presented previously. What we did was we took 6.4% of the weighted student funding, which represents about 70% of a school's budget, and that was consistent across the board. We did look at each school as this, because this was a transition year to a new funding formula, and we made sure that each school could operate and made sure that we gave them what we call transition funding. So it was quite important. There was no school that was put at risk as we transitioned over to a new funding formula. These are the weights that you'll see. Each student carries just a student with no particular characteristics in terms of special ed or English language learners carries almost $4,000 with them. And based on the various characteristics of the students, their academic need, if they're in the 9th grade and so on, they bring more dollars with them. Important to underscore that every school sees the same dollars per student based on their characteristics. There is also, as we go forward, you'll see that we spend a bit more money on each of our special ed students, and that we were able to correct this in this go-around. So there is more money going into the special ed program to help with these students going forward, and the same with English language learners. Okay, in terms of the total school budgets, we talked about the 6.4% budget cut. That translates into $14.7 million coming in total from the school budgets. We also show you here what is going on with the enrollment, and we have projected a decrease in the enrollment, although significantly lower than the decrease that has been projected by the state. going forward in terms of the charter school increase. We do also note here why we actually looked in particular at the special education funding, since 15% of our students are special education students.
That concludes our report.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Lamore.
it seems we have a lot of folks outside waiting to get in. If we could accommodate them because there are plenty of empty seats, or even have an overflow room.
Where's Valerie? Ms. Wilson said that that is exactly what she was in the process of doing when we stopped her. We will now move on to item 9 on the agenda, academic services. Now, what are we taking as a group? What are we? Wait a minute. No, there is not. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Is there a motion to take academic services numbers 1 through 9 as a group?
Motion.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm not sure if
I don't think your microphone is on, Ms. Matthias.
I'd like to pull 6 and 7.
I'm sorry. You would like to pull,
Well, I don't have those in my packet.
you don't have 6 and 7 in your packet?
No. You have it?
Madam Superintendent and Madam President, so item
Yes.
6 and 7 are all contingent on item number 2. So item number 2 is our actual summer programs, of which the county has been quite generous in allowing us this month to actually vote on that resolution. And the entire curriculum that we are preparing for would be, in fact, contingent upon resolution 6 and 7. And I don't recall there being a question on either of those items last week, but I would be more than happy to entertain either at this time.
It wasn't.
Ms.
It wasn't.
Ms. Matthias?
It wasn't on the agenda.
It wasn't on the agenda last week. Blueprint and Wex wasn't on the agenda last week.
Okay, so would you like,
I just would like to know what it is.
The entire summer program for the elementary schools, in particular what we have called the mandatory program, has 3 parts. Students in grades 3 to 8 will be working on particular prepared modules that the Office of Mathematics completed. Item 6 and 7 speaks to the literacy program that we're actually offering students. Item 6 in particular is Blueprints for Learning. That program is focusing on functional reading skills that all of the students that are currently in grades kindergarten through 3 would be undergoing. The services that the students would actually be receiving in part is from a particular print material that the students would actually be receiving. So that's in part what would be occurring in grades K to 3. In grades 4 to 7 is an entire complement to the curriculum that we're offering right now. The WEX program, Writers Express, is an entire writing piece that all of the students that will be in grades 5 to 8 would be undergoing. So they will be getting text material and then being required to write as it relates to a particular work. The interesting thing about both of those two items, there are 2 points. The first is that both of the work, although we have a lot of organizations that are working hard at trying to create alignments to the Common Core, which is in fact the curriculum that is required of all school districts in moving forward, that both of those respective companies have created an alignment that is, if not closest to, is very near what the expectations are of the writers of that doctrine. The second point that is extremely important is that in the past, what we have actually done and offered students in the elementary schools is actual curriculum that focuses, as the New Jersey Core Curriculum Content Standards outlined, very, very across an entire span of literature that is inconsistent with what the actual Common Core writers would be requiring or wanting of our students today. We are extremely confident in the Office of Academic Services that both the blueprints for learning for students in grades 1 through 4 and the Writers Express for students in grades 5 to 8, with the assistance and support that we will be obviously offering teachers during summer school, is in fact the best solution for us, given that summer school begins on the 5th of July.
Okay, thank you.
Move it.
Moved by Mr. Lewis and
I'll second.
seconded by Ms. Matias.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, Ms. Matias, question?
Do we, for number 9, Eagle Academy, is there a location yet?
No final decision's been made on location. We're still considering various locations. The resolution is on the program and the curriculum.
When do we expect the decision to be made?
As soon as we have our lease decisions made, I mean, we have the same available amount of space that we've presented to this board in terms of, shared space, single space, and there are 3 options that we've been pursuing, which we've shared. So they are made in conjunction with the lease decisions.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
The resolution as it stands right now in terms of the curriculum for Eagle Academy, I don't think is a problem. I think there has been community concern over the location, and there's a strong sense from the Science Park community that they don't want to disrupt the program that they have going on there. So I think it would be helpful to the administration to take that into strong consideration when deciding location.
Understood. I just want to be clear that this resolution asks the board for a vote on the curriculum and the programmatic element of Eagle, not the location. We are aware of the concerns. I do want to make this board aware of something that's very important for all of us to consider when we look at our magnet schools. As we want to maximize the number of seats in high-quality space, we want to ensure also that our schools are excellent and reflect the diversity of our community. And something that we have, I'm going to finish my statement.
Order, please.
I'm going to finish my statement. There are magnet schools in Newark that are incredibly high quality and have done an excellent job recruiting and retaining Latino students, African American students, special education students. Places like University, places like science, places like American history, places like arts have done what we expect of all of our schools. They have embraced the idea of excellence. They have embraced the idea of family participation, and they have done so while they've reflected the beautiful diversity of our community. There are other magnet schools that have struggled to embrace excellence and diversity, and science has. So one of the things that we are very much working with, and I applaud many members of the Science Park community, families, the administration, many of the teachers have embraced the idea that as we look to fill up science, that we want to ensure it is accessible to Newarkers and to our kids. So that is something that is a commitment, and part of the reason why I know these conversations are difficult, but the percentage of African American students at Science Park is of concern to lots of people, including many people in this room. And the statistics don't lie, and I just want to put forth that I know this board is committed to that, and that's not the only reason to take into consideration other spaces, but I do understand the concerns about space. So thank you for raising that.
That's cool.
Madam Chair.
Can we please have order in the room? Mr. Lewis? We'll wait. Mr. Lewis, we'll wait.
I just want to say this. I'm totally against putting the school inside Science Park High School. But I want to say this also. For people to yell out, hold on, they said no investigation, no right to speak. So for people to yell out, don't accept the program, that would be incorrect. This program is a great program. I know about the program that's happening in New York. We just do not want it to go into an already successful program. But for us to yell out, and we say we're talking about our children having excellence, for us to yell out to turn down the program, that would be incorrect. Because we want every African American, Latino child in this community to get the best quality education. So we have to be particular, we have to be on the right key, and we have to understand what we are. Excuse me.
Order.
Africa, I'm trying to speak.
Mr. Lewis, it's not necessary to address people individually. Order.
I also, hold on.
Mr. Lewis, please wait. Mr. Lewis, please wait.
Chair's talking, so. Excuse me, sir. This is your first warning.
I also want you to be clear that Eagle Academy is not a charter school.
Hello.
It's gonna be an in-district program, which is ran, operated, and controlled by Newark Public Schools. So it's not a charter program. This is our program. So we have to embrace it, because this program has shown success. It showed that it worked for African American and Latino children, so we have to embrace it. But the reality is we have to understand what is our enemy. Our enemy at this time is not to reject the program. So it's not to...
Order.
Madam Chair, may I speak? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We have a protocol for decorum at this meeting. The protocol is that we do not call out. The protocol is that we do not interrupt speakers. There will be 2 warnings. Then we will take appropriate action. I will ask for your patience, your respect, and your decorum. Do not yell out. Thank you.
Mr. Lewis?
As board members, as elected officials, and also as educators, our responsibility is to make sure that every child get a world-class education. So for us to reject Eagle Academy's program, it would be out of order and out of line. But at the same time, I understand exactly what the Science Park High School family is saying, and I understand what everybody is saying. We do not want it to interrupt the already successful program. So I'm an advocate for this school. I believe that this school is a great program, but I also believe since it's a great program and since it showed that it worked, it needs its own building. Thank you.
Yes,
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
Kenny.
Madam Chair, I'd like to also echo what Marquis said about Eagle Academy. Just from numbers alone, it's proven to be a world-class program that belongs in our district. We need to find space and make sure it grows. But I also like to challenge the district to do a couple of things. I think it's wrong for us to disguise the racial inequity in Science High School in terms of the admission process, in terms of how diverse it really is. And just because we put an in-district specialized school inside of a building called Science Park High School does not mean those students are enrolled in Science High School. So I think that no, we are saying that because the challenge is.
That's not, no, I would respectfully disagree with you. I did not say that. So let me make sure I speak very clearly. What I am saying is that the school building itself, is underutilized. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, order. The facts are pretty clear. What I am also saying is that regardless of whatever decision we make about Eagle, we as a board and as a community and as leaders, I hope we'll continue to find ways to ensure that Science Park, separate and distinct from whatever we choose with Eagle, increases the diversity of the student population. That, period. So those are two related and distinct points.
Mr. Kenny?
Yeah, so I think it's, and I guess we'll probably have to disagree on this point because I'm an alumni of 42 Rector Street years ago when Science High School was there, and it reflected the diversity of the city of Newark. Some odd reason over the last several years, and I know this is something I brought to your attention, and this is something that you said that you would address the amount of the amount of people who were going to Science High School and enrolled in Science High School who were lived in the South Ward, the West Ward, which was appalling, in which the enrolling class was 176 students. 11 came out of the West District, only 2 or 3 came out of the South District, and it was important to make sure that students who wanted to be a part of a STEM program, a part of a science program, are actually enrolled into Science High School, and I think that's the charge that I'm entrusting the district is going to fight on, not Eagle Academy, which I look at as separate and distinct, because when students graduate and go to Duke or Howard or whatever, they graduate with an Eagle Academy degree, not a Science High School degree.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what I'm referring to.
And just to be clear, I don't actually think I hear loud and clear the objection to Eagle's placement. I also agree, and we have made strides to work on the magnet school admissions process such that we increase the diversity across the board, including at Science Park. And I want to acknowledge that there are lots of people at Science Park, teachers, administrators, families, who have embraced that charge. And we took a step in that direction this year. And I applaud them for that, because I believe, and I know lots of people in the city believe, that you can have excellence and diversity. We are committed to that. We did take a step in that direction. But unfortunately, the number of students that applied that actually met the qualifications isn't as far as we would like it to go. So we will keep working on that, separate and distinct from whatever decisions are made at Eagle. And we are committed to that. And many people in the Science Park community are as well. And I applaud them for that, because we all want that kind of excellence for our kids.
Thank you. With this motion has been moved and seconded. Is there readiness to vote on this?
As a package.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to move the academic services items as a package 1 through 9, moved by Mr. Lewis and second by Ms. Mattias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? That motion carries.
Okay, we will now take the actual vote on those items, numbers 1 through 9. Is there a motion to take the vote?
Motion.
Mr. Lewis?
Second.
Ms. Matthias?
Okay, same mover in a second. Mr. Lewis moving, Ms. Matthias. This is to actually approve academic services items 1 through 9. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries.
We will now move to finance items.
Madam Chair.
That's inclusive of items 1 through 55
52.
in finance. Mr. Lewis?
Madam Chair, I would like to ask that numbers 7 through 24, 17 through 24, if we take a separate vote on 17 through 24.
Just for clarity, Mr. Lewis, numbers 18 through 24 speak to the lease agreements. Number 17 does not. Could we get clarity on number 17?
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Wait, I just want to get clarity on, give clarity on what Mr. Lewis was asking. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the new agenda that was on our
Yes,
table.
I'm looking at today's agenda,
Yeah.
and number 17, lease agreement resolution, would appear to be a part of the lease resolutions that that deal with leasing school space, but that is not what it is, so I would just ask for clarity on that.
On 17, yes.
Let me provide the clarity, Chair. The number 17 item is our leases that the district has held for a number of years for overcrowded spaces. Some of those examples are leases with the Archdiocese, in particular, Mary Immaculate Annex, which is one of the 3 Lafayette annexes that we rent, St. Lucy's Church, which is an annex to McKinley, and other assorted annexes. So let me be very clear. These are leases for space that district children occupy.
Thank you. So
So it'll be 18 through 24.
okay,
Yeah.
so the motion is to what, I'm sorry, could you just reword your motion for me so that I'm clear?
I wanted to ask that we take a separate vote or a separate vote on the lease agreements, the long-term, short-term lease agreements, which was number 18 through 24.
Are you making a motion, just for clarity, are you making a motion to table those items, or are you making a motion to vote on them today but vote separately?
Table.
Okay, the motion is to table numbers 18 through 24, which deals specifically with the short and long-term lease agreements.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam Chair, I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes, Mr. Jeffries has a question.
I have a question for Ms. Lewis. Table for how long? Just so I can understand.
Table until we're able to have a community dialogue on these items, and all board members are able to digest these leases, look over the leases, get legal advice about these leases, and also get the community a chance to look at these leases that's being offered to the district. If it's going to be July, we could table to July. It all depends on how fast the district is willing to host this community forum to talk about these leases and get community input.
Mr. Lewis, I believe that there is certainly a willingness among the board members. I know we've all, been in conversations. There's certainly a willingness among board members. There are questions that other board members also would like answered, and at the same time to deal with this as soon as possible to get the information. And I believe that we will, after this meeting, we will decide on exactly when and how we will deal with this. It may involve, or will probably involve, a special meeting, or what we will determine how we will deal with it as expeditiously as possible in order to get the questions answered. And such a meeting would be a publicly announced meeting according to the Sunshine Law. So may we say that to table it, how would we word it? Okay, so can we just make the motion to table the items, understanding that this issue must be resolved as soon as possible?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Spade, you seconded, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a motion to table items 18. More discussion?
Yes, Mr. Jeffries.
I just want to confirm, because I know we had conversation about having a follow-up meeting before June 30th. I just want to know if that's folded into the motion.
It's not, no specific date is folded into the motion, but unless someone would like to say otherwise, I believe that there is a readiness among everyone to resolve this issue as quickly as possible, with the intention of all board members having all of their questions answered, and that there would have to be a public meeting according to Sunshine Law. So I think we're all on the same page with that. It's just the specific dates. The specifics would have to be resolved, but there has to be a forum for additional questions to be answered.
Okay.
Does that?
Well, I just wanted to confirm we're still going to do what, because there was some conversation about having a follow meeting before June 30th. Because it's my understanding that decisions need to be finalized by then if this is going to happen for the 12-13 year. So I just wanted to confirm, are we still on board with that? Having a follow-up conversation the next week and a half, so that a final decision of the board can happen before June 30th?
Yes, we will move with all due deliberation for this to happen as soon as possible, and certainly before June 30th.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion to table items 18 through 24. It's moved by Mr. Lewis. Can I have order, please, so I can read the motion?
Excuse me,
Order.
ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Rowe, your first warning. Excuse me, Ms. Kwamina, your first warning. And
We have a motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Spade, to table items 18 through 24. Ms. Davis-Spade?
Yes.
Mr. Jeffries?
Yes.
Mr. Kenny?
Yes.
Dr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Matias?
Yes.
Ms. Pinto-Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Baskerville-Richardson?
Yes.
Motion to table carries.
Madam Chair?
I'd like to entertain a motion to vote on, I'm sorry, but there was a question? I'm
Yes.
sorry. Yes.
I'm sorry, we skipped past it. I just had a question about item 17. And I know that some of this might have been discussed prior to me coming aboard, but I'm just curious as to why, if we have so much extra space within our district, are we leasing out space from other entities?
let me try to provide some clarification, Ms. Matias. These leases are leases that have been in place when Newark was fully populated and are actually in some of the most overcrowded areas within our district. They are in the North Ward and the East Ward. The schools that tend to be underutilized tend to be in the South and the Central Ward. An example of that was this year when we consolidated Wilson during an emergent time with Quitman Street. We had the ability to do that. In order to make these changes, which I should also indicate that both in the North and the East Ward, the problem of overcrowding is increased by the fact that there has been a delay in the new schools, which Newark Public District was to receive. So as we know, Elliott's population has been displaced since July 2006 and still does not have a permanent home. While we built Park and First Avenue in the north, those schools are still significantly overcrowded. The building of Oliver and South in the East Ward will allow us to also provide some relief. Without those new schools, we do not have the ability to do possibly some redistricting, which will be required in order to move students around. At some point, that is a challenge and an initiative that the district will have to face. In the interim, we rent space.
And these leases are one-year leases only? They're annual?
No, they are I think they're 3 to 5 year leases. A new school takes 3 years. The 3 new schools that I have mentioned, Elliott, South, and Oliver, will come hopefully online if they remain on schedule in the 15-16 school year. I must add that that is not only an aggressive schedule, it is a very hopeful schedule.
And the, in particular, the lease space for two-seater, that would be a 3 or 5 year lease as well? Yes, that's on here.
Let me see it, please. The space for two-seater, our current lease at two-seater ends in August of 2014. So every year we actually have to renew that lease. But the current expiration of that lease is August of 2014.
So if we vote on it today, that won't extend that August 14th?
No, it will,
okay.
no, it will not.
Okay.
I have a question. I have a question. I saw 200 Washington Street on there. I know that the hybrid school was located in there. That program will not continue next year. So what program will we have in 200 Washington after they're gone? Because I know Rutgers also rents in that building.
200 Washington Street, you are correct, has been our hybrid program during the 11-12 school year. That program will be consolidated, I think, with Technology High School, and at 200 Washington, we will continue a YES Center to help students who have been adversely affected or impacted by dropouts, things of that nature, and trying to get them back into school. That program is still under design at this time.
Right now, that's the one-stop enrollment center for any student looking to reconnect to school. One of our long-term goals actually is to, the lease that we currently have for two-seater, as well as the lease at 200 Washington, are not things we want to sustain in the long haul. We'd like to ideally have both of those things coexist. And we are actively seeking opportunities to do that, but it won't happen. We are required to remain in our two-seater street lease, and B, the ability to actually ensure we can meet any student who's coming back to school in a one-stop fashion is something we want to continue this year while we plan to potentially have those things in the same place, ideally our own space, but right now we're required by law to stay in our lease anyway.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry. So the lease at 200 Washington ends 2014 as well, or?
I'm not sure of that because I don't have a packet. Let me see that. This is, again, the annual rental, and I know we are somewhere, probably that was a 5-year lease, and we are somewhere probably in the middle of that lease. We have one more year, I think, after the 12-13 school year.
Okay.
Okay? Once again, it is not an extension.
Okay.
It is to ensure that the leases are in the record, on the books, and approved as contracts annually.
Madam Superintendent, if I may. Just so that we are clear on the record, the students that are currently at hybrid are not going to one particular high school. They are actually all going to be attending schools of their choices in next school year.
Can we entertain a motion to vote on numbers 1 through 15 and numbers 25 through 55? I'm sorry, 1 through 17 and 25 through 55. To vote.
Move
on
it.
those together.
Motion.
Motion.
Move.
Motion. Mr. Lewis, and second.
Second.
Aye.
Madam Chair, I apologize. Item number... No. I just lost it. Oh, item number 25. Can we take a separate vote on that because that's a conflict for me?
Motion to vote separately on item number 25. Is that a motion, Ms. Matthias?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, motion to vote separately on item number 25. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? That motion carries. Yeah. No, we didn't do that.
Okay.
So vote on number 25.
Okay, we now vote on item number 25.
Okay, so this is a motion to vote on finance number, item, I'm sorry, we need it first and a second.
We need,
Move
first, okay, move, Mr. Lewis, second.
Second.
Mr. Jeffries.
Okay.
Okay, motion to vote on finance number item 25, moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Jeffries. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain?
Staying.
That motion carries. Now package.
Now, may we have a motion to vote on numbers 1 through 17 and numbers 26 through 55
Move it.
as a group. Moved by Mr. Lewis,
Second.
second by Ms. Spate.
Motion to vote on finance items 1 through 17 and 26 through 55 as a package, moved by Mr. Lewis, second by Ms. Spate. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? That motion carries. Now to vote on those items.
May we now have a motion to actually vote on those items?
Move
1
it.
through, okay, on the same items, okay.
Second.
Moved in second.
Moved by Mr. Lewis, second by
Jeffries.
Mr. Jeffries. Motion to approve finance items 1 through 17 and 26 through 55. Roll call, Ms. Davis Spate.
Yes.
Mr. Jeffries.
Yes.
Mr. Kenny.
Yes.
Mr. Lamore.
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Matthias.
Yes.
Ms. Pintor Marin.
Yes.
Ms. Baskerville Richardson.
Yes.
Finance items approved.